check it out.
Check what out?
Yo, check this out.
Yo, microphone check 1, 2, what is this?
And we're ready for sound check.
You're with Eric Soul, and this is my sound check. A boundary pushing, futuristic festival. But I think Rwanda is quite amazing. We always talk about spaces and dedicated space for entertainment and culture and those type of things. But I feel like Rwanda, due to its landscape, those hills and those valleys and that greenery, it will be a festival that will be in symbiosis, in synergy with the nature. It will be a space into the nature. It will be immersive. It will be designed by subdividing the space into different type of experiences. There will be a heavy use of local material and recycled material to design spaces, stages, zone, area, bars, and all those type of things. In terms of curating, everything is in the tin. If we travel to time and space, everything needs to reflect that. So if you have different type of zone, you need to be able to go from a zone when you feel like in an ancestral Rwanda and move to another zone when you feel like you're in the future. And in the meantime, you can travel to some spaces that are more familiar, more contemporary. It will be the same thing for the creative and entertainment experience. In terms of the music, there will be some tradition, there will be some futuristic stuff. There will be space to chill, there will be space to share, there will be space to learn, there will be space to hang out and consume local products, to interact with the local crowd. It will be intimistic also, A festival doesn't need to be super packed up, so it will be like probably ticket limited, maybe for 500 people or 600 people in a very wide space where people can travel. They don't feel packed. They can travel freely from one area to the next area without feeling too packed up or too claustrophobic. Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. Sometimes you get to sometimes you DJ into some cultural events, so I'm gonna travel with my sound from West Africa to Central Africa to Congolese and to Afro-house or Kuduro from Angola, all those type of places. But for the music of Kairebga, the music that she has two titles that are sneaked in because they are very heavy in terms of production. Kairebga should get like those type of production that are kind of heavy that works very well on the dance floor. It's Inzozi. It's very mellow. I use it as an intro at festivals, and people are just always wondering what's going on. And there's another track called Agahinda. It's on album Ibihozo. It's also a very heavy production with a very heavy bass line. It works well. On the sound system, it's amazing. The mastering and the production of those tracks are so heavy, it really fits to the best dance records, really. Yeah, very easy. It will be Fela Anikulapo Kuti from Nigeria. He is the one musician that really solidified and reaffirmed and confirmed, anchored me into what I'm doing currently. Before that, I was more like an urban DJ, hip hop. I was a R&B, the typical black DJ, playing R&B and hip hop. And then I moved a little bit into house and funk and those type of things. But when I discovered Fela, I really start defining my sound. And if you analyze the thing, not even analyzing, it's just like really obvious. But Afro-Groove is derived from Afrobeat. Fela Anikulapo Kuti is the creator of Afrobeat. Afrobeat is a brand that defines a specific sound that is a fusion of funk, jazz, Yoruba rhythm, a religious call and response with politically charged lyrics, socially empowering type of lyrics. And Fela Anikulapo Kuti was always saying that music is the weapon. So this is where I am. This is what inspired me, and this is what crystallized the idea in my head that I had to find a name for the music that I wanted to play. And because I'm moving from soul jazz to drum and bass, going through every form of African music, I needed to find a word, because when people are asking you what is your style, black music doesn't mean nothing. R&B is limiting. Funk, house, drum and bass, raga, it's too much thing to too much words. So I had to find like one term that defined my music policy. And and yeah, and always been to the groove, always been to bass line, always been to things that make you move and make you dance a little bit. But I like the soulful side of things. I like the African side of things. And that's how I just like took the word Afro groove, which was something that people used already. But I put them together to form one word. I took off the E of groove. I took out the iPhone in the middle and I put it into one word. So it became Afro groove. So if Afro groove had to do a collaboration with a resurrect musical icon, that would be Fela Kuti. So that would be Afrobeat meets Afro groove, both original founder. That would be iconic. Well, for that, I think if you observe all those cultural hubs, they're really focusing on expression and collaboration and performances. So one of the key feature of the project, which I'm working on actually, I'm just trying to find some fundings for that. It will be an immersive and experiential learning. So that cultural hub has to have an academic aspect to it. It needs to have a research aspect to it. And it needs to have an experiential learning experience to it also. That means that when you participate to the activities of that cultural hub, not only you learning some stuff from experts, and you apply what you learn directly on the ground. So you're not just going to school and then you finish your school, you get your certificate, and then you go off. No, while you participate to the activity of the center, it's an immersive learning experience. And there's also a section where there has to be some research, some research, really to find out, what we're talking about, and there needs to be an academic aspect to it also. So we need to document everything. We need to document everything. We need to classify everything. We need to index everything, and having a unique platform where, if we talk about the inanga, we're just not telling you it's a traditional instrument from Rwanda. We explain to you the curve of the wood, which wood, why they use the string when it was invented, and there's a real research, academic research being done about every aspect of culture. Because we're getting to a stage where we are really just consuming culture without really understanding it. And there's so many components to culture which we have a very superficial understanding of it because we're just consuming it for entertainment purposes. So there needs to be some learning and to reconnect, with your DNA, reconnect with your cellular memory. There's things that we know but we have forgot for conveniences, for short-term gratification. So that aspect is super, super, super important. I mentioned it before. The most striking reaction that I had was like, to a crowd at a festival were completely stunned and mesmerized when I use as an intro the track in Zozi. I was at a festival, so people are expected to dance. It was kind of like electronic music in order to keep the energy up. And I started my set with In Zozi. In Zozi, it's a very ethereal track. Huh? Low BPM is like maybe around like 90 BPM. But the crowd was stunned for the first half of the track, and for the rest of the track they were just waving because they don't know how to dance to it. So that was quite amazing, and the compliment that came after that. But the most striking reaction was not while I'm playing at the festival. I was playing that to a professional music professional who was public relation in drum and bass. Drum and bass is a UK dance music genre, also known as jungle, and that's person was very knowledgeable about all form of music, but specialized particularly in jungle. So their opinion about music, they always have references. You know, when they listen to a track, they get like references, and they can pick up element of jazz, an element of soul or rock or funk, and you know, they can analyze a track and really choose. You know, they are responsible for deciding when to release a track, how to release a track, how to package it, how to compose a press release, and those type of things. So she was very knowledgeable. And when I was playing Kairebga, you know, the compliment, the thing that they said was like, I never heard such incredible melody in my life. And that validated that impression, because when you have a professional of the music whose job is to criticize music, telling you that the music of your country, the music of your own mother, is the most beautiful thing that they never heard, you know, it struck a chord.